Song of the Week by Forever Friday, and this is Northbound, and I am Ajuki. And in front of me, I have OTR here.
It's good.
And I am super excited to have him live in the studio for what may be, I don't know, the last interview or live interview for a while. Who knows, though? How are you? Welcome to Northbound. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm good, and appreciate you guys having me. First time getting me outside of the studio in a little while.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that mix that you just played for us here on Northbound. I know you were speaking to me and you said you haven't DJed in a while. So
yeah, I mean, obviously because of what's going on here in Canada with the pandemic and all that, I haven't DJed probably since like October. And yeah, this mix, I literally just threw it together. One shot, didn't really try to fix any mistakes, just kept going.
Well, it was fucking amazing, so kudos to you. Yeah, so when did you originally start DJing, and when did that happen and your love for music really start out?
DJing has always been something that I've been like doing or like keen to since like, I guess, before high school, being around the like certain DJs that my parents, like parents' friends in the Jamaican community. Okay. So it really started from that to like just like, I guess listening to music and hearing transitions, whether it was like a DJ mix, I'd like always guess what song was coming next.
I love that.
And my friends would always like, you know, try to like get at me for it, being like, oh, what song do you think is gonna come next? And usually I'd get it right. So I picked up virtual DJ without a controller, just using my computer. Okay. And that's pretty much how it started. So yeah, it's been.
And you said you were listening to a lot of Jamaican DJs. So you're Jamaican, but you were. Where did you grow up and where were you born?
I'm born in Canada. Okay. I was raised in Ottawa for my whole life, pretty much until I moved to Toronto. And my whole family is, I guess, first generation Jamaican. So big ups Jamaica.
Yeah. I am part Jamaican myself, so we're very proud. I feel like we have the most talent ever.
Yeah, and like our culture, you know. Like
So when you came to Toronto, so I know a little bit about you. Right. I know you're actually, as an emerging artist myself, you're one of the people that was recommended to me for sound engineering and recording. Yeah, I had DM'd you back in the day. So how did that really start? And I know that you were involved with the remix project as well. And I feel like, you know, that you gained a lot of good attention from the remix project.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. It really started with like a collective. Like OTR was actually a collective at first. Okay. And it was like me and a couple of my best friends, which were all close best friends. My name was I was calling myself DJ OTR. Okay. They all had like their artist's name. So that's really how it took off on that end. But the engineering aspect that's where I saw myself coming in on the group, was from the engineering and the production part. And I ended up going to school for it here in Toronto at Trebas. And that's pretty much where I got my start with just like the getting into engineering. Like I really went to Trebas with a producer mindset. Okay. But once I went to Trebas and really got to see what's going on, like when you really like craft a record or help craft a record, I really like took more attention to that. And then pretty much since 2014, I've really tried to been stepping my game up with the engineering.
I'm not familiar with Trebas, or I guess not everything that a sound engineer does. So what are like the classes and like the things that you were learning in schools? Like what tools were you picking up to become, I guess, who you are today? Like what are you learning? Like, is it like what, mixing, compression, stuff like that?
And this is the crazy part, I'm gonna be brutally honest with everybody, is like I wouldn't recommend going to certain schools. Okay. I would definitely do the research when it comes to going to school, because you might not learn exactly what you are set out, what you would want to learn, or you would expect that you are going to learn. So like in Trebas, I was learning the basics of just audio, of just like how signal flow works, you know, how to get clean audio, how to set up audio, how to route it. Not so much about compression, not so much about EQing, just more so about the fundamentals like of audio, you know? And as the semesters went on, we started to get a little bit more hands-on, whether it was like miking up equipment or doing like creating cables, recording our own like demos and stuff like that. But it wasn't exactly what I wanted to get out of school. Okay. And one thing I can say is being there was one of the GOATs in this music industry. He was working out of a studio that we got to go to, and he told a friend of mine that he should drop out and just come work with him and take that money and put it towards equipment so that he can actually learn what
that's interesting. So it's basically like you're saying, like life, that hands-on experience is really like the way to go rather than maybe like a school aspect.
Definitely. I mean, to each his own, but in the creative field, I feel like you definitely need to like try things out for yourself.
Yeah. And how did you, put yourself in the room with all these people? For people who don't know, OTR has worked with a lot of different Canadian artists, including Division, Kish, Eveman, which was in your mix that I heard, and we've played on Northbound. So how did this come about? And, when did you start recording people? And how did you be like, was it come work with me, or were you approaching them sort of situation?
Right. So honestly, like once I finished school, I didn't like get a job here in Toronto, so I ended up moving back to Ottawa, and I was literally recording from my bedroom with like one artist, Freddie Prince. I worked closely with him, and I had basically just started recording him from my bedroom, set up a sheet attached to my ceiling, and made like a makeshift booth. And since then, it's obviously like you keep learning and keep going. Coming to Toronto, I was in remix program with Idman, and that's where we like basically connected. And then once she started making music, I was one of the first people that she reached out to just because of our relationship throughout remix. We were close. So it just worked out that way. With the Division, I feel like the Division thing was, I was being tested to be given that opportunity throughout before I got it, whether it was like just through Ricky or Rich Kid or someone at Remix looking out for me or giving me an opportunity, and if I see how well I did it. But I knew that once I started going on tour with Pyrex, when Ricky had told me that he had an opportunity for me, that's kind of what, I wasn't actually even sure that it would be do anything with Division.
So it wasn't like, we have this opportunity.
Yeah, it wasn't like, he didn't tell me like, this is what it's going to be for you. I was just like, I might have an opportunity for you. And I honestly thought it was something to continue to do with Pyrex because we were literally on tour like 2 or 3 times throughout the year.
And Pyrex is another local Canadian artist. So, I like him.
So it ended up being that when he told me it was like Division, he was just like, we're going to give you a shot. We'll see how it goes. If Daniel likes you, whatever not, you have the opportunity. And it ended up that I did well in the couple sessions that we did have, and Daniel was rocking with me. So I ended up recording pretty much like a large sum of the album. And it was good. It was like, I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I feel like it's so interesting to talk to you because I feel like you're a man of mystery. I feel like I've known of your name for a very long time, couldn't really put a face to it, and always was just interested in, how you been so successful because it's really great to see. We're going to listen to some Division right now. We're going to play Flawless, Do It Well, Part 3. And this is a request actually by Cass. Cass is OTR's manager. So we're going to play that for her right here on Key Radio. And we're back here on Northbound with OTR in the building. So he recorded that song, and he is a DJ, producer, overall sound engineer. And I want to talk a little bit about your DJing. So earlier on the show, we played an exclusive mix by you. So you do DJ, but you also do produce as well.
Yeah, I do,
Yeah, so you're just a man of many talents, basically. So when did producing start, and when were you like, okay, I want to start creating music? DJing is still creating music, but there is a difference.
Production, I guess, came from just being around a bunch of people that were making music. Specifically, like this artist, he went by Switch, and one of the OGs, rest in peace, Shylock. Just being around those guys and seeing them make beats was really what pushed me to even want to start to make beats, or even like seeing FL in my life was literally through those guys. But also just like listening to music, I was also always listening to the instrumental more than I was listening to like the lyrics. So, and that was just like a thing that I found when like my boys would be like, the new Wayne track would come out and they're like, did you hear that bar? And I was like, nah.
No, I'm listening.
Like, I just heard the beat differently. So that's kind of what I got into production. So I would say it was shortly after DJing, or like just like growing up and being around music was part of it, I guess.
So was the transition from DJing to producing hard? Because I don't feel like it was for you then. If you're already listening, you know, to the music and the beats and the drums and the bass.
Not really. I do remember my mom like recently sending me a picture, and it was like, she was like, she should have known that I was going to do music, because I was always asking for like, whether it was like a microphone or like a what's it called, like cassette box.
Oh, okay.
And like my dad is like a really big influence when it comes to like music, when it comes to like just like overall just like collecting music. Like this guy has it all, and like setting up sound systems and all that stuff. So I feel like it's just a bunch of things that made it so easy for me to just understand music, as well as like I played the saxophone in middle school for 2 years, and like I'm pretty good with hearing key of a song and stuff like that. So not like by telling it, but if I was to make a beat, like I can like guess what the next key is going to be without actually having piano. Like,
and that's kind of what you were saying with the DJing, where you were guessing what the next song was.
Exactly,
it's so interesting. So I know that you produced Hurt Nobody by Kish, and that song was actually produced a couple years ago though, right?
Yeah, we produced that record 2 years ago at 669.
And can we see any more productions from you in the future? Because that beat bangs. Like I know when Kish actually reached out to me, you know, before she put out that song, just because we are friends, Toronto's such a small world. And I was listening to the song, I was like, okay, this is fire. And I was like, oh, who produced this? She was like, OTR. I was like, say word. Like, okay. Because I that's when I actually realized that you were also doing production too. So I was like, oh shit, he's doing everything. So yeah, how has been, I guess, production been going, and have you been giving out your beats to other people? Is that something that you want to continue doing, production?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm doing my own, putting together an album right now.
Okay.
Which is basically a lot of just like Ottawa artists and producers, and kind of collaborating with everybody. As well as my manager Cash has been like pushing me to do a lot more production. So she got me a guitar player and a piano player that we link up like once a week and just make vibes, you know. So definitely looking to get production out a lot more with a lot more artists, as well as like Cass is sending out a lot of stuff, so hopefully we could,
shout out
get
to
some
Cass.
stuff going.
So speaking of Ottawa, so I know that it's called the Foundation Project. So tell Northbound and everybody listening a little bit about the Foundation Project and what you wish to accomplish with that.
So the Foundation Project is basically like a, what do you call it?
Like a mentorship, like
not really. I started it out in a way where it was just like songwriting camps. So like getting artists that probably never worked together and producers in a room and just vibing out, creating records, because I got to do that here in Toronto, and I got to see what you can come get out of it. And so that was like how we started it, and the idea was to just collect a bunch of records and put together a collaboration project out of it. I've taken it a little step further on like the serious part of it, and now we're really trying to just like make it like the best possible, you know, body of work that can come out, at least that I could be a part of, that's coming out of Ottawa, because that's where I'm from. And I feel like, you know, in Canada is always a place that's going to be looked at more than whatever, and everywhere in the world, but there's a lot of talent in Ottawa. And so I feel like it's only right that I like help out and do my part. You know?
I know that you mentioned, was it Freddie Prince?
Freddie Prince,
and what other Ottawa artists should we be, you know, on our radar? Should we be looking out for, especially within the next coming year?
Like Freddie Prince, AP. I played his song "Linda's Son." He's going crazy. City Fidelia is doing a lot for the city itself, and like his music is crazy. This artist named Jaden, I'm working on his album right now, or his little EP. Jeff Shannon, he's doing crazy stuff.
So basically,
Castro
after
Crosby,
this,
the guy that did my tags, like
literally,
like you guys need to just, or he goes by Volume Gal right now, but like there's a lot of talent out there.
After this, we're gonna have to sit down. You're gonna have to give me all of these artists.
There's a lot of people out there.
No, it's so nice, and I really commend you for, you know, your work with collaboration, because I feel like that's really how a lot of people get things done, and it's really helps just put everybody on the map.